Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between Neutron and KraV, taking place here on Terenas Stan. Neutron spawning as the pink night elf on the top left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, KraV spawning as the red undead over here on the bottom right. Should be a great game, great matchup. Looking forward to it. And just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up on my casting schedule, time is particularly difficult to try and find, especially in this stage of life. So, I may not be able to get a full hour of casting every day, as Neutrons, well, Ancient of War, gonna get pressured and pushed by KraV here. This is really interesting to see how this is all working down here. The Ghoul taking a little bit more damage. The Wisp purposely brought over, and then, well, he's just trying to like pull a little bit of the aggro away again, and just trying to use the creeps by actually using that Wisp to pull over just a little bit. It buys a bit of time. That means that the Renegade Wizard and the Rogue Wizard actually are not engaging with their auto attacks. Their range was just a little bit too far. And with this, well, it gives time for Neutron to build up this Ancient of War and train up here. Alright, little bit of damage here. We're going to see some damage get thrown down onto that Ancient of War. Ancient of War not even bothering to hit back. Now has an Archer getting trained up. Most likely that Ancient of War will get up, move over, try to eat some of these trees. Perhaps a couple of Wisps will be brought over as well as a Demon Hunter coming across from Neutron. Meanwhile, Death Knight coming across from KraV. No big surprises there as this game getting underway. Now, we do see another Necropolis, so that is the downside to using this early Ghoul as aggressively as KraV did. The reason for this Necropolis is, well, yes, you can train up some additional Acolytes, but at the same time, in the same way, you are also able to get a little bit more reduce the amount of lumber you need overall. That Necropolis does provide a bit of supply while not costing as much lumber. That early Ghoul wandering out there to do that little bit of tactic, well, meaning you need a you need a way to not get supply blocked, and that's what's exactly happening here. KraV is sitting over 20 over 20, now finally at 20 over 30, able to train up some more units as the Death Knight heads off, nearly finishes off this mercenary camp here. You can see a lot of low hit point ghouls, and the Frost Armor. Alright, so the Frost Armor making this creep camp much more difficult to clear out than normal. I don't remember if there was actually that much Frost Armor applied. Perhaps it's one of the things for Terenas Stand 2.0, as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest finishes off the Rogue and all of these other Apprentice Wizards as well. Demon Hunter, currently seen at 452, does have a Potion of Greater Mana, could pick up Mana Burn, as we're looking at him making his way through the center portion of the map to try and clear out this 3-3 1-1 creep camp. Alright, so additional changes, a Rogue added in here as well. So normally it was only a 3-1-1 creep camp. Now adding in that a little bit of additional Rogue, it would change the creeping patterns just a bit, or just enough, as we see that last Apprentice Wizard getting cleaned up as well. Alright, Misha, level 4, Bear, getting, or I guess hired up from the mercenary camp. That appears to be the case. We're looking at some damage onto that Forest Troll Berserker there. KraV really wants to keep this unit alive if possible. There is that Bear now getting taken down here, and we're seeing more damage come back through here. So Neutron, Mana Burn onto KraV's Death Knight. Death Knight taking quite a bit of damage. Ziggurat about to fall as well. Immolation also on here as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest looks to back away. Alright, how much damage? There's level 3. Are you going to get in some more damage here? There's another deny. Are we going to see a hit? The Demon Hunter trying to catch up there. No more mana. The Ziggurat and now getting completed. That is a big deal there. So unable to finish off all of the ghouls that he wanted to finish off. The Ziggurat is going to actually turn into a Nerubian Tower. Archer going to get taken down. Death Knight sitting now at level 3. Going to pick up a Tome of Strength, or should be picking up a Tome of Strength. Not quite sure why he's not, as the Demon Hunter tests the waters. He has sold that potion of greater mana there. Are we going to see a Death Coil? There you are, Death Coil on the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter suddenly low on hit points and moving very slowly as well. Going to be forced to teleport back home. So KraV behind, or not even teleport back home, teleport off to the Goblin Laboratory to clear out some creep camps. That Ancient of War making that long trek over there. Is the Death Knight gonna spot it? He is gonna spot it here. So this was a little bit of a tough play. Kobo Taskmaster, who's gonna get the experience? And Demon Hunter got the item. I believe the Death Knight got the experience. And now there's a forcing of a Scroll of Town Portal as units are going to be backed out here. Ancient of War not going to be nearly as lucky. It will get taken down. Ancient of War does not get teleported back home. And with that, Ancient of War down and this Kobo Tunneler down. Death Knight now sitting, well, will sit at 3.5. All right. Naga Sea Witch has been picked up by Neutron. At that tavern. Demon Hunter does have boots of speed. Are we going to see him chase down that ghoul? One more shot does in fact do it. Meanwhile, Naga Sea Witch getting in some cold arrows as Neutron going to go ahead and there's an engagement. This is going to be some problems. Death Knight taking quite a bit of damage. Is he going to be able to outrun a Demon Hunter with boots of speed? Level 1 Unholy Aura after that nerf. It looks as though the Death Knight should be able to do exactly that unless it gets tripped up on any sheep or anything of that nature, and the Demon Hunter decides not to give chase. All right, Forest Troll, Shadow Priest, gonna go inside there, get denied by the creeps. There's that level 4 bear Misha. So yeah, the creep pattern is a little bit different here. So Misha, that is actually just a creep, kind of a melee guy up in that front line spot. Demon Hunter gonna try to go after that Forest Troll Berserker. Demon Hunter, the Ghoul is going to try to go after all of these units here. There's a picking up of the item. Naga Sea Witch going to be able to clean up many of these Ghouls. Forest Troll Berserker about to get taken down. There is Blight now down here. Tree of Life absorbing so much damage. Needing to eat more trees. There is another death or mana burn to prevent a Death Coil. Invul Potion now online as KraV comes back over, tries to finish off a couple of these targets. Are we going to see the death of a Berserker? Yes, we are, as the Death Knight still holding on ever so barely. All right, Death Knight now being forced to retreat back. There is Wisp trying to repair. We're looking at this Tree of Life. Well, is it still absorbing a bit of damage? No, I believe the Naga Sea Witch has absorbed the majority of it here, as still more repairs come across. Neutron needs to set up this expansion. Otherwise, that economic disparity would become too much, as we are already looking at KraV making up some ground and getting to tier 2. This fully saturated gold mine, and KraV having 3 necropolises out on the battlefield. Well, that could make a big play if we ever go into those games of, those games of how many hit points are on buildings and whether or not, you go into a base race at the very end. All right, finishing up a couple of these kobolds here, the kobold tunnelers, and these little kobolds, they'll get taken down. Demon Hunter sitting at level 4. Naga Sea Witch, what is she gonna do? Trying to clean things up a little bit. All right, so the Goblin Merchant Shop is actually here now compared to here. So my brain is still processing and moving things around as to what is the same and what is different on these maps here. These corner gold mines are no longer really in the corner. They're actually up in the wing a little bit. So they're closer. I guess they're more centralized as opposed to being far out in the corner here, as the Dryads and Forest Troll Berserkers try to finish off that gargoyle. Death Knight is invisible here. Naga Sea Witch, interestingly enough, also has a sentry ward, so can place it down and spot that Death Knight at any given point. So it'd be funny here if the Naga Sea Witch dropped down a sentry ward to spot where exactly his opponent was here, as the Death Knight does have invisibility, and it is not coming to an end yet. Demon Hunter trying to go after a couple of these acolytes here. Picked up, I believe that was a Tome of Strength, and now looking to back away. How much damage can be done in a Rubian Tower, while making sure that that ghoul has a chance at life, able to get away, and what can this Demon Hunter really do? Meanwhile, Death Knight still playing his game, or his imitation of trying to be a Blade Master, as Death Knight still has, I don't know how long that invisibility is. I believe it's 2 minutes. And somehow during all this time, oh wow, there's a Bandit Lord. Very rare creep. And it does also have invulnerability, so that does change things up. Nagasiewicz getting an additional +2 attack. And there's that Sentry Ward. There's a Mana Burn and Death Knight. Wow. Neutron spotting that Death Knight right there. Nagasiewicz had placed down that Sentry Ward. And with that, the Death Knight's invisibility tricks, well, will come to an end.
A player's forces are under attack.
Alright, Renegade Wizard gonna get taken down, and Demon Hunter sitting at about 4.5. Talisman of Evasion picked up by the Nagasiewicz. No good on, well, could have been useful on the Demon Hunter, as the Demon Hunter has Immolation and Mana Burn right now. We may see a retraining. We'll have to take a closer look at that, as KraV is, well, having an army of gargoyles up in the air, and we now see the third and final Panda. So Neutron really wanting to use that Panda's Breath of Fire, as the Lich could be in trouble. All right, a little bit of damage. In comes some Gargoyles. Dryads have to be very careful here. There's going to be some Abolish Magic, getting in some easy experience as the units now head off to the north. Neutron is trying to win this game outright, or win this game with a lot of creeping, get that hero level advantage for nearly level 3, and now a third hero at level 1, compared to just the Death Knight and Lich 3-1 here. All right, little bit of damage. This could go sideways really quick. All right, Druid of the Claw, Frost Nova, Death Coil, Breath of Fire, Rejuvenation, and may not be enough. Demon Hunter gets taken, or excuse me, that Druid of the Claw gets taken down before it even has enough proper hit points. And is going to be Neutron's job to finish off some of these gargoyles quickly. There's going to be a little bit of damage over time. You can see that gargoyle down to 9 hit points already. Demon Hunter is going to be able to catch up. Oh, should be able to finish off one. There goes one. Finish off another. There goes another. And now still trying to rack up a little bit more. And there's going to be that damage over time again. That gargoyle down to 84 hit points. And, well, may get down into the 50s. No back on Blight. Going to be able to heal up nicely here. Meanwhile, we're looking at some more engaging Brewmaster trying to finish things up. Are we going to see a Mana Burn? Yes, we do. And now Cold Arrows being applied too. Lich may not be able to get a Death Coil in time. Immolation also as well. And down goes the Lich, Mana Burned to death. What is KraV's play here? Nagasiewicz getting up to level 3. Panda should be able to get to level 2 off of this creep camp here. And as that happens, well, it's going to change the pace of the game. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter, Fork Lightning, Nagasiewicz, both sides trying to fight their way through. There was a sleep onto the Dreadlord, and there's another sleep again. The Demon Hunter gonna end up getting surrounded. No Staff of Preservation. The Dreadlord with sleep, able to shut down the Demon Hunter, and talk about a jump in experience. Without that level 4 Demon Hunter falling, it would have been, well, the Dreadlord and the Lich would not be close to, the Dreadlord would not be that close to level 2. Good to see Terenas getting a fresh coat of paint and being in the map rotation. Yeah, my brain's still trying to wrap my head around what's going on here. Deep Brewmaster could be in trouble. Oh, Brewmaster in trouble, gets taken down. No Staff of Preservation. And KraV coming back strong, getting the double hero level up now. 4-2-2 going up against a 4-3-2, as KraV may pick up a Scroll of Healing and perhaps a Scroll of Town Portal just in case things go sideways. All right. Coming back down here off to the south side, we're looking at, well, Murloc, Huntsman, Flesh Eater. This is all going to get cleared up here pretty quickly. And now, is anyone actually going to try and take down this Bandit Lord creep camp? Yeah, there's that Bandit Lord. It opens up with an invulnerability, and now going to get taken down. Always great to catch you live. Well, great to be alive, to be honest. The alternative is, not painful for those around us. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was one of the best. One of the best quotes from a celebrity. It was I think what I'm gonna tangent this because that's where my brain went. And Keanu Reeves was asked like, what do you think happens when you die, and Keanu Reeves giving a really good answer, going, you know what, I don't know for certain, but I know the people left behind will miss us. And I'm just like, that is just so well put, and that is, yeah, yeah, that's what we know and experience. So make sure you know, hug a loved one today. All right, the ghouls and the gargoyles getting a lot of love by the Naga Sea Witch and the Panda here, getting burned down quite a bit. Demon Hunter going to finish off a ghoul off to the south side here. 5-3-2 versus 4-2-2. We are still incredibly close in terms of hero levels, and well, it may come down to who can get to level 5 on their second hero first. We know, well, level 3 Frost Nova suddenly makes a Demon Hunter, well, shiver quite a bit more. Demon Hunter normally doesn't have that many hit points. It is more of an agility-based hero than a strength-based hero, hence has a lot of effective hit points, but, well, we know Death Coil and Frost Nova is not affected by armor. So, meaning that the Demon Hunter can suddenly get bursted down quickly. The Naga Sea Witch has picked up a Staff of Preservation, incredibly important, and the Panda also now has a Ring of the Archmagi, so both of them are going to be able to, well, pick down those gargoyles if necessary. Now, going after the assassins and some of these other enforcers here, we're going to see the assassins and enforcers, a little bit of damage. Demon Hunter purposely backing away, trying to keep tabs on the undead army, and this is actually buying time. This is going to be huge. Neutron going to get to level 3 now on that Brewmaster, picks up an Anka Reincarnation, going to finish off that Manual Enforcer, and this last assassin there, Manual of Health, 50 hit points. It could be necessary here as the Demon Hunter gets slept again, and a Gargoyle Surround. Gargoyle Surround and asleep. Damage and damage again. Staff of Preservation isn't going to be enough. Where's the Naga Sea Witch? Naga Sea Witch not close enough. The Naga Sea Witch pretty much said, you know what, Demon Hunter, you're fine, walked away, and that was a huge misstep by Neutron, a missed opportunity to, as well as now, without that Demon Hunter there to kind of absorb a lot of that damage, or the expensive resurrection. I take it back. Because of that expensive resurrection, well, Neutron's not going to be able to get into that low 70s supply count. Right? There's that Staff of Preservation getting sent back home. Naga Sea Witch, Naga Sea Witch pretty much saying, what? What are you talking about? All right. A Demon Hunter going after some of these targets. Again, we're going to see the Gargoyle get hiding off in the corner. Terenas stand so many places to hide flying units as the Demon Hunter, well, partaking in some of this creeping and taking some of the experience away, but the Naga Sea Witch still gets to level 4. Another Druid of the Claw out here on the battlefield. The Druid of the Claw wants to be in combat fighting form just because, well, in this form, he just doesn't have that many hit points. Yeah. I don't know. If you had Druids of the Claw actually raise their base hit points in their Druid form, right? They could perhaps stay in Druid form a little bit longer and be able to maintain mana. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this change, right? It seems like 580 hit points, especially as a tier 3 unit. At this stage in the game, you're often going up against level 5 Death Knight, level 3 Frost Nova. A 580 hit point ground unit getting hit with a 300 or nearly 500 hit points of spell damage immediately for a 4 supply unit. Yeah. Maybe needs just a little bit more base hit points in the Druids to balance it out, or so it doesn't have a giant target on its back when it's going up against the Death Knight and that Lich. All right. It's not like you really want those Druids to be in right? You should really be like, hey, they're strong, maybe a little bit more hit points, but they're also their fighting damage is really what you want often. All right, expansion by KraV here at what I'll call the 8 o'clock spot. Gargoyles making their way over. Panda trying to, well, mosey on through, and what is going to end up happening? All right, Abominations have joined in on the battle as well. There's a, well, Frost Nova Mana Burn exchange. Units trying to retreat back. Panda isn't even bothering to Drunken Haze Breath of Fire at all. This is, all of these gargoyles are just sitting right here. Why don't we see a Drunken Haze Breath of Fire? That's exactly what we should be looking at. A couple of slow poisons going down onto gargoyles as well as they are retreating back. Staff of Teleportation. It seems like the Demon Hunter went back home and says, I'm going to drink from some moon wells, and I don't have any moon wells. And now needs a rejuvenation instead. All right, 90 over 90 supply by KraV. Main gold mines starting to mine out. Only a half a minute of mining left. That very long arch or very long range of that meat wagon able to, well, put pressure onto those dryads here as we're looking at. There's a mana burn. There's a breath of fire going back across, and, well, cold arrows galore as well. Low hit point. Low hit point. The meat wagon gets taken down there. A couple of ghouls getting taken back and forth here. So we're going into some exchanges. The gargoyle is trying to get in position. A couple of low hit point units. We're looking at a Druid of the Claw. Is he going to be able to stay alive? Could get Staff of Preservation out of there. Is he going to get saved here? No, he is not. He's going to get taken down. Invul Potion now on the Dreadlord. Gargoyle is going up against the Dryads, and we're looking at the Panda, who needs to make its way over. Perhaps get a Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire across all of those targets, and we're going to see some Gargoyles losing some hit points over time. Druids of the Claw are getting taken down. Gargoyles are trying to retreat. There's another Scroll of Healing. Both sides fighting through. A big heal onto an Abomination, as two low hit point Druids of the Claw are going to have some trouble. Again, there's another Breath of Fire. More damage onto the Gargoyles, as the Naga Sea Witch is going to be forced to try and retreat back out. Are we going to finish off this Abomination? Breath of Fire, no. Abomination stays alive at 70 hit points, and it's one of those situations where if that Abomination went down, it would have given perhaps a little bit more experience, but now it's just going to get healed back up, probably by a burst heal eventually. Oh, wow. Abominations trying to stay back, stay on Blight to get healed. This could potentially be a problem. 71 supply compared to 66, but 8 of that, or excuse me, 14 supply being left back at home. All right. Haha. So Neutron's Tree of Life here, not in the right spot to actually entangle the gold mine. Perhaps he forgot that it is in this position here. He actually had it in the spot where it would normally be in Terenas stand 1.0. It's like, oh wait, it moved. The gold mine moved. All right, so lucky for Neutron, he can lift up that Tree of Life and walk it on over. Imagine if he was playing human or orc and accidentally built his town hall or great hall a little bit too far and needed like 18 peasants to effectively mine. Coming back across here, Ancient Protector, was scouting out this spot, making sure that no mining happening here, and, well, that is going to get cleaned up by the Dreadlord Death Knight. And, Night Elf. Racial advantage. We will call the fact that Night Elf buildings can be picked up and moved a racial advantage, right? I mean, if you can unsummon an undead building and then resummon it somewhere else and get some of the resources back, that's fairly close, right? $79 supply compared to 80. Both sides just, well, trying to figure out what their follow-up play is going to be. We're looking at 3/3 upgrades by the Night Elf. A fair number of Moonwells that are getting filled up here during Nightfall. And how is this all going to unfold later? All right, dual Scrolls of Healing for Neutron's army. We see these Dryads. They have suffered quite a bit of damage, still suffering a little bit of that poison damage. And it's important to note that we are at night time, and we are still able to get a little bit of that of that healing going, or sorry, the abominations damage over time is still eating away. Demon Hunter falling asleep at the wheel. All right, there's a Fork Lightning. Dryads, Meat Wagons going after these Dryads quickly. We're going to see a couple of splats there. Level 4 now on that Lich. Big Breath of Fire. Brewmaster trying to fight back the other way. Are we going to see some more damage onto those gargoyles in the air? That's going to be the big question as we see Fork Lightning now giving level 4 to the Brewmaster. All right, there's another Scroll of Healing to try to keep those Dryads alive. 62 compared to 59. All gone. Both sides fighting. A lot of the gargoyles are now down. What's going to happen here as the Brewmaster using a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Big heal on the Frostworm here as the units are trying to back away once more. All right, still both sides fighting. Brewmaster down to 300 hit points. Is he going to be able to back away? There's a Breath of Fire. Demon Hunter still trying to fight across here. Is we going to see a Staff of Preservation? We do. Saving that there. There's the Death Coil for the save on the Lich. And both sides are just suffering heavy losses, but Neutron looks like he's going to come out ahead. No. Picks up with the Goblin Zeppelin. And now units are retreating again. No easy way to see up onto the high ground. And we see another Death Coil finding a Frostworm here. And now, well, we're going to see the Lich backed out there onto the ground. Dryads are getting taken down. There's a reveal up on the high ground. Demon Hunter now gets up to level 6. There goes the Lich. Goblin Zeppelin gets taken down because of a reveal. Brewmaster back out onto the battlefield. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, Death Knight now needs to retreat back. Are we going to see the death of a Demon Hunter here? Level 6 now on the Death Knight, though. And what a crazy, crazy exchange. I had mentioned it earlier. I have not seen this game. The tree line on Terenas stand often allows for the use of flying units to hide effectively and efficiently. We saw that with the Goblin Zeppelin there. The Lich was suddenly able to teleport or just jump into the Zeppelin and then hide over the skyline. However, fighting next to the laboratory, 2 reveals by Neutron. Remember, reveals do not last very long. 2 reveals to ensure the kill not only against that Frostworm, but that level 4 Lich. That's going to be an expensive resurrection by KraV if he wants to try and resurrect or timely resurrection. Now at the Altar of Darkness, it is more expensive at the tavern, so gold is an issue. KraV is only running off of 1 base as opposed to Neutron's 2. We saw that Tree of Life walk over earlier, and that may be exactly what Neutron needed to finish this game. Demon Hunter now at level 6 does have Metamorphosis, can easily finish off a couple of ghouls. There goes 1 ghoul. Are we going to see another one there? Dryads trying to finish and poke things off. There goes that ghoul there. What is that Demon Hunter doing? Just wandering back around the other way. Altar of Darkness is going to be bringing back that Lich again. Death Knight does have Animate Dead. Could, well, try to bring up a couple of these Crypt Fiends and Ghouls from this graveyard and perhaps win a fight that way, but it is going to be a tough, tough battle. Are we going to get a closing out here? There's a Death Coil, Mana Burn onto the Dreadlord. Dreadlord not able to get a sleep off in this fight so far. Drew to the Claw. There's a Death Coil onto the Naga Sea Witch. Are we going to get a Rejuvenation? Both sides fighting their way through. Dreadlord trying to chase after here. Demon Hunter not even bothering a Metamorphosis. There's a Death Coil onto the Dreadlord. Dreadlord somehow staying alive. There's Fork Lightning. And both sides continuing the fight here. A lot of low hit point units. There goes an Abomination. Well, there goes a Drew to the Claw. Both sides exchanging blows. Dreadlord about to get taken down and blown over by a Breath of Fire. But at this point, Neutron was just trying to receive KraV at this point. He ventured into this location onto his opponent's base, knowing that he could easily take infrastructure away if KraV didn't go out to meet him. And in this time, he just slowly backed up all the way into a favorable defensible spot, ensuring that he got more gold out of this additional gold mine that KraV doesn't have, and was just trying to prolong the battle. And that was a great play there, knowing when to pressure, knowing how to pressure, and knowing how to stretch your advantage. That's some of the things that, as a real-time strategy player, if you're trying to get better, that's what you should be looking at. This was a classic move by Neutron there. Bring the fight to your opponent, and then let the game go long and force a KraV into an unfavorable matchup once more with, Neutron's Dryads in a nice semicircle around with some Druids of the Claw in the front and with superior numbers. That always helps in battles. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Here are your final scores.